Next up, some of you, if you're sports fans, may know him as the former Richmond basketball head coach, Chad Bolser. He now goes by, we kind of give everybody a hard time because he's chancellor now.
That's right.
I can't remember, is it the genuflect or not?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Ivy Tech, again, one of those, I don't know, are there any Hollands here, the Chris Holland's family? Because he's my favorite thing along this entire process is we were given a tour to a bunch of young kids, and everybody listened to it, and it said at the end, "Have you got any questions?" And Chris raised his hand and says, "Yeah, I got one. Can you define the term coming soon?" He's bright. He's a good kid. I said, that's a really good question. It's relative because we haven't had an Ivy Tech facility, not what we're going to see here for a long time. We've had our satellite area, which is still down the way, and we now have the training center that we're working on. But I can't tell you how excited I am to see students out there sitting in the lobby on Nets decorations, enjoying this building. And we'll let Mr. Chad come up here and tell you of the exciting news coming from Ivy Tech.
Thank you, Brian. I want to tell a couple quick stories about Rushville. Now you need to know, obviously, from that introduction, which I try not to bring up when I'm in Rushville, I'm not from here. And so in August of 2014, I got the job I transitioned from the community schools to Ivy Tech. And we have 3 locations. We have one in Richmond, we have one in Connersville, and we have one in Rushville. And so in my first 10 days, I decided, August of 2014, I said, I'm going to go visit all those sites. And so they were trying to explain to me where our place was here in Rushville, and I said, look, I've been to Rushville 100 times. I know exactly, I can find the Ivy Tech. It's on the main road, right? And they said, sure. And so I come down 3, and I came in here, and so I looked everywhere, and I went back and forth. I cannot tell you all the places I went in Rushville, and I could not find Ivy Tech. And I thought, this is the dumbest thing in the world. I've been here for 10 days, and I'm supposed to be in charge of this place, and I cannot find it. So I went, and I did what I normally do. It was about 185 degrees outside by the time I started, and I went into one of the local gas stations, and I got a cup of coffee, because that's a sensible thing to do. And I called my assistant and I said, hey, listen, you're going to have to be more specific. Where is our facility in Rushville? She started to explain. I leaned up against a building. And I said, I'm telling you, I'm standing here and there's no Ivy Tech. It's the domed building right next to the parking lot that no longer exists. It was torn down. I was literally leaning on our building and could not figure out where Ivy Tech was. Now, here's the point to that story. If I was paid to do that, how are students seeking an education that are nervous about taking that next step supposed to find it here in Rushville? 2 months later, I had this meeting set up with the mayor. And my boss from Muncie comes down, and we had this really long conversation. This is in the fall of 2014, and we got done with that meeting. And both of us walked out, and it was really hot that day too. I don't know what the deal was. Maybe it was a bad fall. But I walked out of there, and I took my coat off, and I got in the car, and I said to my boss, that dude is crazy. Speaking of your mayor. Now I think you might say this to yourself, I had not met Brian Sheehan yet. But I'll never forget what was said about it. Yeah, he's a little crazy. I like a little crazy, but here's what I really like. Somebody that has vision for what they want to see happen in the future for a place that they love. What I've experienced with working with Rushville and here in this place, we have wonderful folks. Kim Thurlow does an outstanding job of making sure our presence is here as our workforce consultant, our dean. We have Ron Oler, who is a site director. We couldn't go. Michael Dora is a state trustee. We have wonderful representation here. Mary Roller works tirelessly for your students. But here's what I know, is the place that we were in, although adequate, maybe less than adequate, and the temporary places that we are, the vision to want something better, because as Matt and Rob will tell you, one of the key components in making sure that you have a future is education. Now, the previous speaker said that the mayor said he sent out a survey and the number one thing was entertainment. Now, he showed me that survey and he said the number one thing was education. Here's what I know.
It's a restaurant.
We are thrilled to be here. We are proud to announce to you that in the fall of 2019, we will be offering classes here in this space. Just by the limited access that we've had on downtown, where we actually had just a small sign, we tripled the number of students that were taking classes here. 8 out of every 10 students that completes in higher education in their area, 8 out of 10, this is statistically all over the state. If you can educate them here, they will stay here. That's not something that all of our four-year partners will tell you that. If you educate them here, they will stay here. If you send them away, they might come back, but if you educate them here, they will stay here. We are so proud. We love these folks here. They love their community, and they had a vision and a tireless work ethic, a resolve to make this happen. I don't know if you know this, from time to time in the education field, people say to you, that's never going to happen. I'm proud to say we're going to be next door holding classes in a full operation here as Ivy Tech Community College, Rushville. Thank you.